Okay, so it is May 8th, 2020. We're here with Dr. Teresa Frankovich and Sheriff William Honsal. Last night we had a press conference regarding the gradual movement into stage 2. Now that that date is here per the state, what does that mean for Humboldt County, and what guidance have you received from the state thus far?
Sure. Well, when we did the conference, we were still waiting for a couple pieces, and in fact, I still have not seen the governor's order, the final order yet. So we're looking at that, or looking for that. But one thing we just want to emphasize is that what the governor's statement earlier in the week meant was that beginning today, we would be able to have sort of a soft opening or launch into our stage 2, where we begin to open things. And very specifically, he noted that that meant that retail businesses that are able to serve their customers by curbside or delivery were able to open as long as they had good safety measures in place for their employees and for the whole transaction, all those social distancing and other elements that we've talked about, as well as the manufacturers and logistics folks who provide for them to be able to sell their products. So it was a great way for us to just sort of kick things off and get things moving a little bit right on the front end. But we want people to understand is that stage 2 includes many types of businesses, and it is meant to span a period of time. And so right now we are really faced with 2 tasks. One is to provide from the county an application essentially for a variance, allowing us to move as quickly as we think appropriate through the remainder of stage 2, all these businesses. And then the other component is businesses being ready to do that. And so we've really been working on how to make that happen on both ends. What I can mention is that from the variance end, from us being able to let the state know that we're ready, I'm preparing a report with the help of some other individuals to get to the state information about our testing capacity and our surge capacity and about all the measures we have in place to protect residents and to monitor an outbreak if we start to see an increase in cases. Other elements of that report that go to the state are letters of support from some partners that we have in the community, and again, just some specific timelines about how we want to see stage 2 unfold. So that will all be submitted to the state, and I'm actually having a call with them on early Monday morning to go over all those pieces before we actually submit. And then the other piece of this, the business readiness part, we've been working on collaboratively with the EOC to sort of make this as simple for businesses as possible moving forward, because we know they want to do it safely.
Yeah, and that's an important component here of us moving into the expanded phase 2. So right now we're in that first stage of phase 2. The expanded phase 2 is going to incorporate customers coming into stores, and so we recognize that. And after we attest and go through that next process, we can go into that expanded phase 2. That is going to require businesses to register online with the Humboldt on our Humboldt website, humboldtgov.org. And we'll be able to submit their business application online that essentially goes through some key elements that is outlined by the state. The state has provided a roadmap for an industry guidance for the next stage. So if you go to and Google California roadmap to resilience, the next steps, you'll be able to find the guidance for 17 different industry sectors that we're going to be looking at, and that is very, very important for us to actually build off of. And so as we build our own compliance on our website this weekend, and you should see it, and we'll have a launch, and we'll make sure all the business owners are aware of this, we're going to build off of those industry guidances, okay? And so people are going to have to come up with a plan for their business, okay? And that plan is going to have to include a couple things. One, how are you going to train your employees? And then what control measures are you going to implement? And then what are the disinfecting protocols you're going to have? And then how are you going what are the physical distancing guidelines you're going to have for your business? So those 4 key elements you can work on right now as your business. And also, when we get our framework in here, you're going to be able to actually submit your plan to the county for approval. And when it is approved, we'll be able to provide you a compliance certificate. with some things that also the state is requiring you to do as far as posting goes for your employees and your customers. And it's going to serve a couple different purposes. One is to assure your employees that they're working in a safe environment, and also ensure your customers are working in a safe environment. So, and so we want to build confidence in our community, and we want to make sure that people do feel comfortable when they do decide to step out, either to work or to go into our retail establishments. But this is we're still working on this right now. We have a couple of days until the state will allow us to open up into retail. And so we want to get this started before we open up, in anticipation of that opening day real soon.
Yeah, and I think we certainly want both the public and the businesses to recognize that businesses are not going to look exactly the same. There are going to be differences in how services are delivered, how we interact in a business. And so, we're asking that the public really be patient with that. It's their experience when they go to shop is going to be different going forward. Most people in the past were not masked as they shopped. That's going to be something that we're all doing. And again, the interactions in that environment, for instance, some businesses are going to just need to reduce the amount of foot traffic just so that they can safely distance everybody. So again, we're just asking people to kind of step back and accept and help the businesses do this effectively.
So do we have a date when the plan submittal, when that's going to go into effect, or is that still an in-progress thing?
Well, the things we have control over are submitting the plan to the state, and so our aim is to be able to review that with them early Monday morning, and then see what their turnaround time is. They've said they're working very hard at being able to review these and give feedback so that they're not something that's causing delay in the process. So we're very hopeful that we're going to be able to have businesses who have their plans in place and ready, that there'll be a point sometime in the next week that they can begin. So it doesn't mean that all businesses will start on the same day, or that all types of businesses will start on the same day. So we envision there are some businesses that are probably on the lower risk end that are going to be really easy, and some businesses that are a little more complicated to structure that may be something that happens a little bit more down the road, a few weeks down the road perhaps. But our vision is that everybody who can and is ready to will be able to start opening really very soon.
Yeah, so I think one of the first things that can open up are the retail establishments that are doing the soft opening now and have those things in place. So once they apply for their certification and they know they're in compliance with our California code, as well as our own public health code here, once that approval process is completed, which is going to be a quick turnaround time for those businesses, then they'll be able to post that and then open their doors to their public.
To foot traffic.
Yeah, to foot traffic. So
that'll be great.
So today, then, what happened today? Is it curbside pickup only, and then the certification will allow them to come into the store? Can you just further explain that?
So the beginning step is really, again, the idea is these retail businesses that don't need to bring customers inside, that their employees are working and working safely, but they're serving customers by delivering to the curbside or by pickup only. The difference for those businesses, and then all of the other additional businesses for whom that model is just not feasible, is that they'll be able to get their doors open for foot traffic and be structured for customer safety inside as well as outside the establishment.
So yeah, again, this is state, baby steps as we go along the way, and I understand this is the state guidelines, this is what the state has put forward, and so we're asking people, let's step through this with the state, and real soon, again, we're in a good position here in our county. Unlike other counties, we have that framework in place to open up rather quick as opposed to other counties. So we're close to opening up these retail establishments. We want to make sure their guidelines are in place and that everyone is safe when they do come to work or go shop one of these retail aspects.
And I do want to emphasize that when people go online to the state site and then to ours, because we'll be having links to all those documents, they've actually provided some really extensive guidance for businesses. So the intent is to make it so it is not a guessing game for businesses to figure out what kinds of things are needed. It's all really pretty well spelled out. What the businesses have to do is be able to look at what that guidance is and says, for my particular business, for my bookstore, for my flower shop, for whatever it is that I'm selling, clothing, how do I make that look in my particular business, the size it is, the kind of employees we have, the facility we have, and construct that safe environment. And that really is, how do you customize those guidances to make it work for you? But that really is an important piece. If people can start, as we have this set up in our system, get those plans in. We're not asking for, 20-page documents. We really are going to just provide an online form for people to complete. And then we'll also offer some assistance. If there are businesses who go, I can't quite see how this will work for us, we want to be able to provide some technical assistance for them to help think through that if they need some help.
And is the county reviewing and certifying those, or are those being passed to the state?
The county will be certifying those. So we'll have a team that's made up of a lot of different county and city employees that'll be looking at these plans and then reviewing them. And if they need more clarification, we'll ask for more clarification. If they are complete, we will be approving them, and they'll be getting their compliance certificates.
And this model's not quite up and running just yet. It's going to be in the next few days.
In the next few days, the model should be up and running, and we will let everyone know when it is.
It's being built right now, and just because, again, the guidances came out yesterday, so just making sure we have links to those and are able to help people sort of sail through it really smoothly, I think, is really important. I don't want anyone getting frustrated by the process. But ideally, again, we don't want to be the limiting factor in terms of people being able to get through this, and we do want to provide some assistance if people need it. Because I know the goal is for every business owner too, is they want to be open, but they also want to be able to assure people that it's safe.
Absolutely. What else would you like the public to know in regards to this gradual moving into stage 2?
Well, again, I think it's just, at the minute, whether it's the combination of spring right now or, and the fact that we've all been sort of in place for so long, people are very eager, and I understand that. But again, we're balancing sort of safety and health against that sort of re-emerging from shelter in place. And I think it's really important for us to have a good, solid, consistent, and science-based plan to do that. I think all the pieces are right there. And so I really do think for people, life a week from now is probably going to look a bit different than it does now. And 2 weeks from now will be very different. And so I think our timeline now is fairly short to be able to see our community start to become more of a vibrant, active community again. I know Mother's Day is coming this weekend, so I do want to caution people that we are not out of this shelter in place right now, okay? And obviously we're going to be outside our homes more as we begin to open things up, and we understand that. But right now we're still asking people not to really be congregating closely in groups outside their family unit. So for this Mother's Day, I'm asking that people really protect their mom by honoring that and trying to structure, do their celebrations inside their homes. Go out recreation if you like, but again with your family unit. And the rest of us are doing a lot of more electronic communicating these days.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.